When you enter artworks, you can specify whether or not an amount is payable on sale of the artwork. And we did that through the pricing screen. So under the Payable Amount tab, you've got the option of specifying that amount is payable on sale of the artwork. Usually this will be in the case when you're a gallery and you're selling an artwork on behalf of an artist and there is now an amount payable. Or perhaps you're selling an artwork and there's an amount payable to an owner. No matter what, this setting will allow you to specify how that payment should be made. Either a fixed amount, meaning that there's a fixed dollar amount that's payable to the person, or you retain a percentage of the sale and the balance is paid to the artist or owner. So in this case, we've specified a percentage of 33. The gallery percentage is 33% on the retail price of $1,500, meaning that the payable amount is $1,005. So when that artwork's been sold, and if we go and have a look at this statement here, we've added this artwork already and it's already been sold and paid for. Once the artwork has been sold, how do you go about making sure that the artist or owner is paid for the amount specified? Looking at this line item here for this artwork, you can see that yes, a payment amount is due, and as expected, if we review that, it's payable to George Friend, who in this case happens to be the artist, and the amount is $1,005, as we saw was set up as the default for the artwork. If we click on this line item, again we can see this amount down here at the bottom, because there may be more than one. There may be a case where there's a royalty payment that's needed to be paid as well, or perhaps an owner and an artist is needed to be paid, and you can add additional people here if need be. But we'll click on this item here and we can see those settings as we'd expected, that we've specified a percentage and who the amount is payable to, and we could alter that here now if we need to. But let's leave that as that is. So we've got an artwork that's been sold, it's been entered on the statement, it's been paid in full. Where do we go to from there? Go to the Reports Plus section and then to the Payables section. So at the moment we haven't got any payment documents drawn up. First thing you can do is click on Review Unpaid Items. So this will show you a list of items where an amount is due to be paid but it's not yet been entered onto a payment document. And here's the artwork that we were just looking at. So this artwork has been sold, there's an amount payable, and it's not yet been added to a payment document. Again, you can review the invoice details, make sure that invoice has been paid in full, although when this button is shown in green, it means that the invoice has no amounts outstanding. And if need be, you can move back to the invoice. Adjacently on the right hand side, it shows us the amounts payable, and clicking on this button takes us to that same screen where you can adjust that if need be. So this screen is useful for reviewing the amounts payable, making sure that they're correct before you go ahead and draw up a payment document. You may want to print up a report on the amounts outstanding before drawing up a print document. There's a print report button here which will print this in a list form, and there's a print settings control button here that allows you to either print a basic report as we just did, or a detailed report. And the detailed report, you can specify what level of details appear on the report, giving you a comprehensive look at information you may need to make a decision as to what amounts you want to pay. If we go back now to the previous screen and draw up a new payment document, we'll make it for the artist we were looking at. His name appears below, but we could use the filter box to find that. Here's the payment document, payee, and a reference which you haven't specified yet, and the edit button. So if we click on this, we've got an option here to specify settings, the date the payment this was drawn up, a reference so that when you pay the artist you've got a reference linking this payment document, a comment that appears on the document or your own private comments, and down here you've got the option to control the details that appear when you add an artwork to a payment document, and we'll see that in a second. So if we go ahead and click on the Add Artworks button, this will show us all those artworks that we can now add to the payment document. Again, we've got an Items Details button that shows you details on the amount payable and details on the invoice. And again, that appears in green here because that invoice has been paid in full. Just go ahead and click on Add to document and the items added, and obviously you'll be normally adding some or many items at once. We can click on the edit button and we can see the details that have been entered in, and we can add or amend these as we see fit. And again, on the other side of the screen, details of the invoice and the amount payable, so that we can work out exactly how you went about getting this figure. So that's it. In this case, we could say we've paid this in full, put a reference number in there, and then we can print this document and it will detail the items that we've added. So from the artist screen now, if we go back to the artist screen and the artist dashboard screen, we can have a look here and see the payment document when they were paid. So if an artist calls you up, you can move straight to the document and see when and how they were paid for a particular item. And if we return back to the artwork screen for this artwork, it may well be that you're working with artworks and you want to be reminded whether or not you've paid for the amount outstanding to an artist in this artwork. If you move to the payment screen and the payment payable amount tab, down the bottom of the screen you'll see a list of all payments that have been made, or all payment documents that include this artwork. So here is that artwork and here is the payment document we drew up a little earlier. So it gives you the ability to view from the artworks component on the artwork screen who and when was paid, and you can move from here directly back to the payable document if need be. So that gives you an idea of the flexibility and the way that you can access payment documents throughout Tessera.